You're in charge of the people you associate with. You're in charge of your life, your free time, your good health. If you can find a way to get back to really trusting yourself and what you know to be the truth of you, then I think you can make a ton of headway.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. I am with my new best friend, Cynthia, and I am really excited to talk to her today. And we're going to talk about all the stuff going around us, outside of us. Yet, how is it linked to what's inside of us? And how do we know? So, before we get started, we're going to take a quick break, get a word from our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's inside of us. We'll be right back. Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on the show to list their coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LaraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network. All right, Cynthia, I heard this thing once that said, you're walking down the hall and someone bumps into you and you spill your coffee. Whose fault is it? And it's yours. You are the one that was carrying the coffee. Now let's analyze. Let's pretend like coffee is anger and milk is peace and, whatever. What we're carrying around inside of us when we bump into that or get bumped into, what spills out is not the other person's fault. And have you ever had the reaction where, yeah, you dumb idiot, I can't believe you just bumped into me, and blah, blah, blah. That's what's going on inside of you. What if, oh, hi, I haven't seen you for a while. Nice to bump into you. That's what's inside of us. And all of the stuff going on in this world, the chaos, the craziness, the hatred, the love, what you see the most of is what's inside of you. That's how we react to this. So Cynthia, help our friend understand how we spill things out is what's inside of us, not what triggered us.
So well said, Laura Jane. Thank you very much for bringing this up. Really important. So probably just to reiterate what you just said, when you look around at the world and you see the chaos and all its little fingers are going out in all sorts of territories, whether it's our personal relationships, the war, the climate, it's all a little bit chaotic. And if you can just imagine, look inside yourself and understand that chaos is happening in you too. And really, we can't stand back from the chaos outside of us. And we really need to take part in diminishing that chaos. And the absolute best way is to have a look at how we can undo the chaos we carry inside ourselves. And then I think, one individual at a time, we can go out into the world, set a good example, be that stone that sends a ripple across the giant pond, and make a big difference. I think a lot of us feel like we're just small potatoes and we can't make a difference. We can make a difference.
You can for sure make a difference one person at a time. We don't have to change the whole world overnight. But if you can make a difference for one person, and then they make a difference for one person, look at how much you're magnifying your beauty into the world instead of sitting there like, I'm all by myself. Nobody cares about me.
It's a shame. And I think a lot of us feel that way. And we're so overwhelmed by the outside world. You sort of think, maybe I just don't want to open that door. It's awfully nice in here with the door closed. But Humans are meant to be in touch with each other. We are meant to share our feelings and take care of each other and communicate with one another. And what a fabulous thing that is. It's not just that it's okay, the right thing to do, but it feels so good.
I was just thinking when you're talking about that, my own personal triggers. It's like one day this button can be pushed and I don't care. And another day I might giggle at it. And another day I might be so angry I even brought it up.
Mm,
But it's not the person on the outside pushing the button. It's what's going on the inside at the moment. I could
mhm.
be having a real frustrating day and I just got triggered to something usually doesn't bother me and I just jumped down somebody's throat. And so we do spill out differently at different times. Like
Huh.
today, I'm completely at peace. Nobody's going to rattle me. And another day, everybody rattles me. How do I be more consistent or at least learn to rely on the things that I really want spilling out?
Well, for me, that's a pretty big and fabulous topic. It really goes back to my favorite thing to talk about, which again is love and how to access the love that is you and how important that is. I believe, and um, my husband, whose work we talk about in my podcast, is the base of who we all are. This love ties us together. This love lets us be our authentic selves, excuse me. And for so many of us, we've ended up having to think about so many other things besides love. We've ended up having to carry the trash that's been put upon us in our lifetimes and even in utero and even ancestrally. And so we're so busy carrying that heavy load that we don't have time for ourselves. We don't have time to reflect. And in fact, we even forget who we really are. We may be so busy supporting this trauma that we've forgotten who we are. We're so busy trying to get that job that dad said was the job we needed to have that we've forgotten that we really wanted to be something else. But yet this is a path that we just walk down without even giving it consideration. And what I want for you, for everyone, is that we come to a place where we're making decisions based on what we want those decisions to be rather than what we've been told we need to be doing. I want to fall in love with the person that I want to fall in love with, not the person that over the course of time I've perceived to be the right person because my mother wanted it so, or my great grandmother had a certain feeling, or society tells me to do a certain thing. I want to understand myself well enough that I know my decisions are mine and mine alone.
So amazing at making my brain go in a million miles. It's like when we are raised with all these responses, you're taught if you smile, people like to be around you. Because
Mhm.
you learn that naturally. You're crying. Nobody wants to hold you as a
Yep.
baby. If you're smiling or peaceful, everybody wants to hold the cute little baby. And it's funny that these are things we're teaching them. We are in our own way domesticating them into our lives. And it's like, this is the yardstick. This is the measuring stick I'm going to hold up to you. And this is what makes a good person.
Yes.
And
And
we have, you smiled, you were kind, you apologized, you did these things. This is a good person. What we're learning at the moment is how to be a good kid.
mhm.
We're not learning how to be a good adult. That measuring stick needs to get thrown out the door and you create your own adult measuring stick. What
Right.
makes you happy? What makes you feel fulfilled? That's what we measure it on. I don't like it when I'm cranky. So that can stay on my list. When you're cranky, you're not such a good person, but it's that I'm not treating other people the way I want to do.
Mhm.
But when I'm cranky, guess what? I'm not happy with myself. And so
Mhm.
now I just want to pour all that crap on everybody else.
Mhm.
So, how do we get to be happy with ourselves so we can share happiness?
Isn't that something? So I'd like to say that those of us who, sort of do that in a rote way, like reward our children when they smile and, hug them and kiss them more when they do exactly what we told them to do, are not doing that to be mean or harmful. We think we're doing something, loving. And we just know that this perfect little package isn't going to require any negativity from us or from those around us. So we create this thing and we carry that little child with us into adulthood. And here's something to think about, which is kind of hard to think about. I believe that in utero, we are given all kinds of messages that are hard to take as a baby. Whatever our mother is experiencing, and I say our mother because that's in fact where we're housed before we come out into the world. Our fathers can also put an imprint on us, but let's say our mother is feeling unloved. She's in a relationship that's not healthy. She holds back. She doesn't know how to deliver love. Those messages are coming through to that baby. This mom doesn't know how to love. I don't know how to love. This mom doesn't have time for me. I don't have time for me. What can I do as a baby to make sure my mom is okay? Because if she doesn't survive, if she's not happy, I don't survive. So I'm going to put on that smile. I'm not going to cry. She thinks I'm not lovable. I'm just going to be not lovable. I'm not going to look for any attention. And so you just naturally carry these things on. So you're carrying this burden that was put on you in utero by your mom. And it's just unknowing. And you just keep behaving this way. And you can't possibly be living your own life.
Wow. Yeah. We do live the life other people taught us to live.
Yes.
It's like, but thank goodness we don't all want the same thing. If we all wanted to be doctors, we would have a really hard time because nobody would be at the grocery store selling us food. Thank goodness we have mechanics. Thank goodness we have trade people and professors to teach us these things. And had we all wanted to do the same thing, this world would be so out of balance.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yes.
so it's so important to recognize and appreciate the differences.
It is.
And
And
I think so many of us, sorry, I keep cutting you off, but I don't expect you to be like me is so important. Because if you were me, then I don't need me.
that is so well said. Yeah. That has a lot to do with us. And I mean, what a great space it is to be in when you immerse yourself and you find the activities of others, the personalities of others to be such a gift, that you're thrilled with the diversity on whatever level that is. And how refreshing it is to meet up with someone who doesn't think just like you or do the same thing that you do, as you say. It's great. And I think we need a lot more of that, though, in this world. We really do. We got to slap ourselves around or something like that.
It's fun to live with someone who is the complete opposite of you.
It is.
Because at times it's annoying as heck, but God, you never get stuck in a rut. You always have that other side to look at or to
Yeah.
see through.
Is that what it's like in your relationship?
Yes. I turn right, he goes left. I go straight, he goes the other. We don't have the same reaction to anything.
Mhm.
They're opposites. Like, if I think it's time to be quiet, it's time to talk. But I'm thankful for the difference.
Yeah.
Because if it was always my way, I wouldn't learn the other ways.
Right. Right. And I was just going to say, I bet you two are constantly learning from each other.
Oh, yes. It's been lots of years.
And still,
But we still learn. You still
great.
tell me I change every day. I have new experiences to base my life on. So tomorrow I'm a new person because now I've talked to Cynthia and now I've talked to, it's these things that add value to us. So I'm different every day. I should expect the people around me to be different every day.
Mhm. and have some grace about that.
Yeah,
Which
it's like, well, yesterday you told me this. I changed my mind.
you were so happy yesterday. What's the matter with you today?
Yeah, what's the matter? I like the so happy days.
Oh, I know. I know.
But
Well,
it is really get down to that self compassion and self love.
mhm,
When that all comes out, is understanding that we're on a roller coaster ride. Somebody once said, we don't get on the roller coaster ride to get off.
mhm.
We
That's
go for
true.
the ups and downs. We
Right.
go for what it is. So expect it in life and enjoy the ups and downs. And it's okay when you finally get to get off.
It is. But you're right. You go for the ride.
Yeah. And so it's like, how would I appreciate the climb if I didn't have the descent? How would I appreciate the calm if I didn't have the crazy?
Mhm.
And it's those opposites that help us to appreciate the things that keep us at our perfect balance. But it's not always going to be that way.
Right, right. And it's not always to remember that you can have that or be able to access it. So many of us are just so busy, with our tasks, the things that we must do to get through our days. I mean, that's often, maybe more often than not for most of us, right there, unbalanced. And the moment that you're supposed to be taking care of yourself is the moment you give away to another task that's fallen into your hands. And, that's chipping away at your ability to really love yourself, take care of yourself, be healthy. And, that has to come first. It's not selfish. That's just the way you become your best self. That's the way you love others. You can't really love others fully until you know what that means inside yourself.
And I'm thinking about this, and it's if I had a best friend and they just did something cool, and I said, wow, that is awesome what you just did, that makes them feel good.
Hmm.
But if I'm being my own best friend, I go, whoa, that's way cool what I just did. I need to do more of that.
Hmm.
We turn that down. It's like, oh no, I'm tooting my own horn. People are going to think I'm arrogant. I think I'm cooler than them. And so we turn that down. And what we
And
need to be doing is turning it up and
oh, you're
loving that
right.
it's there.
Yeah, you're so right. That's so interesting that you say that. I sent an email to a good friend of mine a little while ago, and I said to her, I probably shouldn't be sending you this. It sounds like I'm bragging. And she wrote me back in 20 seconds. And she's like, are you kidding? She says, more. This is what I live for. And she didn't mean just for me. She means she wants to support people that are, feeling happy about something they've achieved. I mean, how great is that?
It's a beautiful, but we feel guilty for some reason. Because oh, if I'm loving what's going on right now, then maybe somebody else thinks I'm bragging that my life is perfect and theirs isn't.
Hmm.
And you know what? We got to quit thinking. Who cares what someone else thinks?
Oh, I know.
You
And isn't
know,
that one of the hardest things to undo?
we worry about it constantly.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I just painted my nails red, and what if somebody sees them and hates red? Do you like it?
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's a good question to ask ourselves, like maybe every 10 minutes.
Do you like what's going on? If not, change it.
Right, right. Well, I did that to a large degree. I let, sort of judgment rule my entire existence. And I don't think I'm alone there, even to the place where, it's been detrimental, clearly detrimental. I'm going to go by what I think these people think I should be doing, not what my heart tells me. And as much as my little heartstrings are being pulled by this other thing, I can't go there because this group of people is going to just judge me to no end. And when I fell in love with Bernard, he was 36 years older than me. And he was in his 90s. And not in a million years did I ever think that I would possibly fall in love with someone that much older than me. And I put the kibosh on it time and time again because of this fear of judgment. And as you can imagine, we had little time together due to the fact that he was in his 90s. We weren't going to have decades of a relationship. And all I did was lose out. I mean, I lost time with him because I was so worried about this judgment. And, when I actually confessed, I shouldn't even say confessed because there was nothing to confess to. I was in love and I was thoroughly happy with this person. But when I began to tell people this, their hearts came to me. They said, well, yeah, that's kind of unusual, but aren't you absolutely lucky that you found this kind of love? Go for it. And I was just shocked again and again. And it was so lovely to have that experience. And it was so lovely for me to jump in and take a risk and do something that was really against what I'd been taught to believe was right all my life and do something according to my own heart. It changed my life.
Who said what our spouse needs to be 1 or 2 years older than or younger than us, and
Somebody
everything
did.
else is wrong?
I know. I know. There's
It's
so
like,
many
I
things
don't
that are
know how you
wrong.
made this wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. Social and stimuli of this is what's socially acceptable, and we forget to live our own lives.
Yeah.
I have a friend that just has the most unique way of dressing. Just fun and frilly and light and airy, and I wanna be like that. I want to feel that light and airy freshness. And I always and at the same time, I wanna be comfortable, so if it's not comfortable, I ain't wearing it.
Right.
So it's like, what fits? Are you who you are? I envied her for a long time, and then I went, "You know what? I like the comfort that I dress as. This
Mhm.
is what's comfortable to me." But I love the people who are outside the norm on that. It's like they are dressing for them.
Yeah.
We all talk about dress for success, dress for success. Well, I want you to dress for a successful you, and that's whatever you want. When you go to the office, you gotta follow their rules, but
You
every
do.
other time, it's yours.
For sure. Do you feel like, uh, right now people are more open to that? I feel like I've been reading articles where people are saying, "What's with all the dress codes? What with now it's baggy jeans, then it's skinny jeans." And how do you keep up? Is it I'm so old, I don't know enough about social media, but is it many of us are just paying attention to what social media tells us to do? Maybe that's one of our newfound judges, I guess. But I do feel like there's sort of this openness to being like, hey, you go ahead and wear that fabulous, crazy thing you're wearing over there.
I think it is with this younger generation that's coming in, it's very refreshing,
Hmm.
to have that. I worked with a lady back when I was the young one that we kinda, like, dished on because she was so set in she had really, really, really bad back pain, but she wore her high heels to work every day because that's what you're supposed to do.
Wow, what a trooper.
And that's like so we would dish on her because she wasn't taking care of her health because of this image of what you're supposed to look like with the
Hmm.
office. But that's what was meant to be, that is what was expected, and you didn't go outside that, and you felt bad, and the people in the office didn't have to, it's that mind. My mother said, "This is what I'm supposed to look like,"
Yeah.
and that's what we do,
Hmm.
and when we can finally settle into our own, being okay with at one time, I had to always have a different outfit or a different something or a different I couldn't even go on a business trip without a brand new outfit because they might have seen it, and I don't know which ones they had seen. And you just go, "Oh my gosh, it was so important to me to never be seen in this same thing. Now I wear the exact same friggin' thing on every podcast because you know what? It's easier than to try and rotate.
Oh, man, that's so refreshing, but you're right, you've gotta sort of keep a logbook of what you've been wearing. I remember doing the exact same thing on business trips, thinking, I cannot remember if Mike and Betsy saw me in this or in that. I got to go buy something new.
Every time.
Really
Uh,
funny. Well, I like
yeah.
your approach.
Yeah. We change, we evolve. Let me say, the first time I ever went to the office with two different pairs of shoes on and two unmatching, unmatching pair of shoes. I was devastated. I hid in my office till my husband brought me a whole big sack full of shoes because he didn't know which ones I was missing. And then the next time when I did it, well, several years later, I just went, you know what? I don't care. If someone wants to
Whatever.
make fun of this, fine. But I'm the one that finds what's comfortable and then buys one in every color. So you can feel the difference,
Hmm.
but it looks. And the funniest thing is I did it 2 days ago.
Oh.
Jumped out, went somewhere, we were signing some trust documents and stuff, and I looked down and I'm like, "Oh, great, here I go again."
Two different shoes. So what
But is it okay?
changed for you how did you become okay with that?
It probably just went. I mean, I know that it just was like, I'm not perfect, and I'm not gonna try to pretend like I'm perfect when something like this happens, and I had to just own it. If you
Mhm.
want, like, instead of like, "Oh, they might notice it," and go, say, "Anybody notice I have 2 different pairs of shoes on today?" "Yes, it was dark when I walked out the door." And I leave it at that, instead of trying to fix it or change it, and I think it's just owning it, and it's easier to point it out and then them not notice it than to wonder what all the thoughts are going on in their heads. It's just
That
like,
could be how refreshing that is, and, that how human that makes you, and how easy it is then for other people to think, "Right on, she's just like a regular person. Sometimes the shoes are right, sometimes." I feel a little bit better about the things that I thought were, uh, bad things that I was doing or silly things. Every once in a while, I'm gonna do it a little differently on purpose or not, and that's absolutely okay. It's part of the texture of who we are.
yeah, I remember the first time I changed my hair color and was so embarrassed to go to the office. Like, oh, everybody's gonna think I'm weird. And it's like now it's like, yeah, they've seen everything.
And
Who
they love
wants
it,
to be
I'm sure.
natural?
That's great. That's great.
But it's
Well,
what makes you feel good, really. What is it?
mhm,
What makes you feel good?
mhm,
And find those things and put them in your life. And if fear of judgment is one of them, how do I overcome it?
mhm,
What if I feel like I'm being judged for being too tall? What do I do?
mhm.
How do I overcome it? There's nothing I can. Oh, well, yes, there are surgeries that will shorten your legs for you, but I wouldn't want to go through that.
No.
So, what is it? What is it that makes you you? And do you love it?
Yep. Well, each and every one of us is a gift to humanity, and each and every one of us, starts as this little ball of love, and our individuality is just so woven into the fabric of humanity. We need each of us to be who we really are. And who we really are is the bits about us that make us happy about us. And when we're happy about us, when you know you and you love you, again, you're sending that out to everybody else. And not only that, you're getting so much more back. People are like, "You're awesome. I want to hang with you," or, "Let me help you with that." I know that happened to me. I used to be reserved and I don't need anybody's help. I don't deserve anybody's help. I don't want to be a burden. And all of this, I know I can relate it back to how I grew up and even in utero. I totally know that. And when I stopped giving into those messages, I became much more who I truly am. And I've even had friends say to me, "I was hanging out with you and I knew you were in there. I knew you were in there and I liked thinking you were in there, but to really see you now, Wow. I'm so happy I stuck it out with you, sort of closed up clamshell of a person.
They don't really say that though.
Not
They
quite.
just say, I'll say like, isn't it's nice that once you get to know someone, you trust them more.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not worried about being shamed or hurt because even if they did it, you wouldn't take it that way,
Yeah. Good point.
And it's what are those, what can you do to feel that towards strangers?
Mhm.
It's okay. Like, it's their crap that's coming out, not
It is.
yours. Yours can
Right.
come back out.
Yeah, true.
But is which crap are you gonna spill? Are you gonna spill the milk, the water, the coffee, the tea? Or
Mhm.
did you not have a cup today?
Right. It's either all yours to spill or not. Yeah,
So it's gonna happen. Those triggers are gonna come at you,
they
and you get
are.
to pick what
And
comes
it's a
back out.
living this life is a lifelong lesson, and it is a roller coaster, like you say, and it is pretty fabulous to think that every day is different and each day you're learning something new. And, how do you pour that into the cup that's you?
I like the me hat. Wore the mom hat and the wife hat and the work hat, and the me hat was completely gone. None of my hats now don't include the me hat.
Oh, that's
They
awesome.
got to be me, or I'm not the best mom I can be unless I'm me.
Yeah.
Not the best partner I can be unless I'm me.
Mhm.
And when we have that open communication of I can share and still be loved, oh, how
Isn't
nice is
that
that?
yeah, to just have that footing to stand on is amazing. So how did you get there? How did you go from not having enough time for the you that is you or
Wouldn't it be nice if there was just that one thing? But I can tell you what started the journey.
okay.
I was driving home from work and I was listening to the Abraham tapes with Esther Hicks. And I was being to the point where I was always mad at my husband for harping on me for my weight and for my, like, rah, 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 rah.
Mhm.
And it's like, why can't he just be unconditional? Why can't he just love me like I am? This is just dumb. This is just silly
Mhm.
that he should love me like I am. And so this thing said, how can you expect someone else to love you for something you don't even love yourself for?
Mm.
And that started the journey of I have got to love me. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks or wants to harp on. It wouldn't bother me if he was harping on me for something I liked.
Mhm.
Go ahead, harp all you want. I ain't changing.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was something I didn't like. It was something I was ashamed of. It was something I felt like everybody could judge. You can be an awful person and look good, and you're not going to get judged the same as being the fat one in the office? And it took years to love me just the way I am
Mm.
and to realize that life is okay. If you don't like me, it's okay. It really is okay because I have a great tribe and I'm taken care of and I have great friends. And if you want to come be in the tribe, great. If it's not for you, fine.
Yeah.
And we've got to quit expecting everybody to like us when,
Right.
but because the second you like you, it doesn't matter anymore.
That's so true. And gosh, that's a hard one. We all want everyone to like us. I mean, how many times during the course of the day? I mean, you even want the person who's serving you that incredible cup of coffee to like you somehow. And I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. But like you say, there are going to be people who just don't. And I love how refreshing it is to just be okay with who you are. And we can't please everybody.
You can't. And that's why once we please ourselves, it gets so much easier
It
because
does.
you're no longer worried about all the other measuring sticks that you need to try to figure out how to measure up on all of them,
Yeah.
which is you just have one. What
So
is it?
did
Right?
your relationships change once you really found yourself operating from the you of you?
Oh, Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And they still change daily. I uncover new things, new triggers that I blow up and I don't know where it came from. And I do my self reflection. I figure it out. And it's like, okay, this is why I blew up. This is the issue that was my trauma that came out. It's been 30 million years ago, but it came out.
Mhm.
And I will do better now, like better for me. I'm
Mhm.
not doing changing for you, but I can do better because I now understand this about myself. And
So do you think then that means that the next time a set of circumstances comes up where you come at it with uh, an anger or an anxiety, you'll recognize it before you say explode?
no, no, it just pops out. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. Like there was probably a couple weeks ago and I just jumped down my husband's throat because I was doing some recordings and he kept interrupting and I just, ugh. And I was messing up and having to re-record because I do some solos too. And I let my mess ups spill out on him
Mm,
with one little teeny tiny interruption. And it's like, I just implied that my podcast is more important to me than you.
mm,
And that is not the case. Like it was minutes. I'm out there going, interrupt anytime you want. You are way more important. This does not count. I was being frustrated, and this is the result. And when I can articulate it, because I identified it
mhm,
and go right to the source and go, hey, I'm not making an excuse. I'm telling you why I triggered and that I've now fixed that button. It will no longer do that.
oh, so lovely. How great for both of you.
It's a necessity, right?
Yeah. But
It's
brave of you too, because you had to come to him and say, okay, I made a mistake and this is on me. And that's hard for us to do.
it's hard if you think it's going to make you look bad.
Mhm.
And we don't want to look bad.
Mm-mm.
But when you've built the trust in your relationship, I don't think there's any other way. Then I I just triggered. It's just, you know what? We all have them.
Yeah.
Ancestral, like you say, these are ways I was trained that you're supposed to act.
Mhm.
And something just happened and it didn't fit right. So I barked.
Right. You still need to shape your world, shape your little orb so that everything fits in place, whether it's good or bad or whatever it is. You've got this comfort zone, and it doesn't really make you comfortable, but it's what you know. It's the path you've taken. It's what was delivered to you through the course of your life that you still have to carry around. So you think, but you don't. You just don't. You can pierce that little orb and, find the part of it that's real to you. It was up until, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I used to hear my father's voice in my head with just about any decision. It could be a big decision, a really big decision. I would run it by him in my head. He had no idea I was doing this. Or it could be a little decision. Is it peanut butter and jelly or is it just peanut butter? And I would unconsciously wait for him to check off, sign off on the approval there. And it was really through the course of my dreams that I discovered that I was doing that. But when he finally spoke to me in my head for the last time and I said, Dad, really don't need your opinion. I really love you, but I've got this and I'm going my way. It's not what you tell me to do. It's what I know I want to do. That was really refreshing.
I would love to just keep on talking with you because this would end up being a 3-hour episode. Because now I want to talk about dreams, but let's not go there. I mean, let's go there another time
Okay.
because I think it's all really critical and important to understanding who we are.
Yes.
We've talked about the self-love and figuring out who we are and being okay with change and being okay with all these different stimuli that come at us. And how do
Mhm.
we come back with the real you instead of
Right.
the triggered you?
Yeah.
And just that constant evolution. But why don't you tell our friend how to get a hold of you, what you do, how to get a hold of you? Because I think this has been great conversation. And then what is that one thing that we can do right
Well,
now to help
well,
us take ourselves, get back in the driver's seat, put ourselves back on the task list, stop putting ourselves in the corner? What is that thing that gets us out of this habitual hide?
the thing that gets us out of this stuckedness that we are in,
Yes.
really, really knowing, proof positive that you are lovable and that you can operate from love. And that this course that you've set yourself on, that you think is your undeniable course, is not. You are in charge of your course. You're in charge of the people you associate with. You're in charge of your life, your free time, your good health, your ability to love. And if you can find a way to get back to really trusting yourself and what you know to be the truth of you, then I think you can make a ton of headway. And again, we are all based in love. And just start thinking about that. Just have some curiosity about that. And one way to really get there is to use your dreams as a key to your unconscious. And that, again, is a topic for another day, but there's a fabulous gift there. But you are lovable and you know how to love. And you are so busy doing a workaround, taking care of others, carrying the trauma, trying to manage, that you've let yourself lose sight of the specialness of you. And you just be that special thing. That's what the world needs.
The special you. I love it. Just recognize something in you this week that's special.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. And then
What's
maybe do that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that you like about you?
Mm. Mhm. Think about
What
that.
is it that you do, and how can our friend get a hold of you if they need to?
Well, I host a podcast called And Now Love. Thank you for asking. And we have a website, andnowlove.com. And if you go there, you can find us on all of your favorite platforms. We're on Spotify and Amazon and YouTube and TikTok, and the list goes on. And we have conversations with lots of different people, very much like what you do, Laura Jane. And we continue the conversation about how best to learn how to love ourselves and what tools we can use to get there. And we talk to people who have turned their lives around and have figured out that part of the joy of their life is being part of a community, doing something outside themselves, and learning that they can only get there if they actually indeed take time for themselves too.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining me today. Friends, Cynthia and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We're here for entertainment. If you have a medical or mental need, please get a hold of your physicians. Stay tuned for the next episode and have a beautiful day.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Laura Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.